So, today I figured we'd go over how to refinish a swing, a wooden swing that I got from my neighbors. Um, this was actually sitting in their backyard in pieces for, from what they tell me, a number of years. Just never got around to refinishing it, so I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what I'm going to do to refinish this. I'm not sure if I'm going to stain it or paint it. Probably going to end up staining it to match the pergola and hang it in the backyard. But basically, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these cross pieces off, mark them on the back, label them probably A through Z, maybe make some indication of which ones are for the back and which ones are for the seat. And yeah, just go ahead and give everything a good sanding. Most of the wood was wet when they gave it to me, and I was kind of worried that it might have some rotting to it, but it doesn't seem to be super wet right now. It's just darkened, so I think I can sand this down and stain it without issue. The handles are pretty good. The only concern I have is maybe the spots where the screws go in might be a little bit stripped out, might not be as sturdy, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start taking this apart, labeling everything, and be back in a second. Alright, so I've got everything disassembled, and as you can see, I've gone ahead and labeled each piece where they go, seat 1 through 8, and then the back 1 through 9. The only two pieces that are really a little bit warped are the very back on the seat and the very bottom on the back. Everything else seems pretty straight, and I think I'm just going to sand this down and use it as is. I went ahead and labeled the supports for the bottom and the supports for the back, whether they're right, center, left, as well as the arms. Just put RA for right arm and LA for left arm, and then for the arm supports as well. I don't know that you really need to do that. If these pieces are the same, I wouldn't worry too much about it. My philosophy is overkill is underrated, so if one happens to be just a smidge off, I've got it taken care of. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with the orbital sander, get this done as best I can. But yeah, all these pieces here are exactly the same. These three are the same, these three are the same, so it wouldn't be too hard to just build new pieces from scratch. So let's sand it down and we'll see what it looks like. So I've got all but one of these sanded down and ready to go, but I kind of wanted to give you a quick side-by-side comparison of what it's looked like through this process. So this is unsanded, just raw in the condition I got it. This is with it sanded down. Looks pretty good. There's a few little rough spots, but I'm just going to kind of go over that. And then this is with the stain that I used. I ended up using the Behr, let's see, what is this? The Behr wood finish. It's supposed to last for 2 years, 4 years on fences and siding. It's the cedar natural tone, which is the same thing I used on the pergola. So yeah, we'll see. It looks like it's going to match the pergola pretty well. So go ahead and get the rest of this sanded down and then stain it, and we'll be back. So I got most of the pieces sanded down, still got a few to finish, but kind of wanted to show you what I'm doing with the orbital sander to get the rounded edges and kind of the approach I'm taking to it. So left a little bit of this unsanded, so first of all, it won't take too long, but once I've got all 4 flat surfaces sanded down, what I'll do is I'll just kind of go along the edge with it, kind of roll it in my hand as I'm sanding it. And then for the end here, what I'll do is I'll pretty much just put the sander flat against it. And then roll it up there once or twice, and that does a pretty good job of it. And I've got this little foam mat to keep it from bouncing around and possibly damaging the wood. Was thinking maybe I'd have to replace some of these cross pieces, but yeah, most of the slats are in pretty good shape. I did get some pretty gnarly splinters off of them as I was sanding them down, but yeah, so let me finish sanding this up and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm staining it. So I got everything stained. It's pretty much dry at this point, and now I just got to put everything together. Really need to clean the garage again because I needed to use some recycling bins to get this done, but yeah. So I did go ahead and buy some new screws for these on the ends here, and pretty much everywhere they used 1.5 inch screws. I went and got some deck screws that I'm going to use for this because I know they're good for outdoors that are 2 inches long, so that'll give me a little bit better bite on these too without going all the way through this. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this put back together. And there we have it, the finished product. Very close in color to the pergola. A little bit lighter, but not too bad. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. On this particular design, it is designed to lean back a little bit because otherwise you feel like you're falling out of it. So yeah, it turned out really well. I'm happy with it. I did end up using those yellowish screws, the deck screws, and it looks pretty neat. And I got some new chain. Came with the 2 pieces of chain there, one for either side, and the hooks to hang it by that's designed to be kind of swung with. Had them at Home Depot. It was like $12, I think, for the kit. So not too bad considering everything else was just something that was given to me. So yeah, took a little bit of time and $12 for the chain. And some leftover stain I had, so not bad.